Hey guys, welcome back to Andyland. It's your girl Andy. It is day 7 of our Valentine's Day countdown, and I decided to do a softer, sweet, more subtle look. A lot less complicated than some of the looks I've been doing. If you've missed any of the looks in this Valentine's Day countdown, the link to the playlist will be in the corner. I hope you guys are having as much fun with this series as I am. So if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And if you'd like to see how I got this look, make sure you keep watching. Oh, and I wasn't naked. I had a dress on, I promise. Going in with the NYX eyebrow glue first, just to make sure that it's dry by the time I'm ready to start my brows. Just run that through the brows and get those hairs in place. Then I'm going in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I'm going to rub this all over my face and let that sink in. I'm going to set around my nose and mouth with the Laura Mercier Deep Translucent Powder. I do this when I need my makeup to last. It helps with the longevity of my makeup by setting the base. It's a trick, it's a vibe. Some people like to mix their powder in with their foundation. I prefer to pat it in beforehand, so. I'm going to spray my face with the Milk Hydro Setting Spray. This is another extra step. I spray my face about 2,500 times when I'm doing my makeup, so it is what it is. I'm going to do my brows using the Ruby Kisses eyebrow pencil in the shade Dark Brown. I picked this up from my local beauty supply store, and it has yet to steer me wrong, so I just use it and do little brush strokes filling in my brows because my brows are pretty much non-existent. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. Per usual, I'm going to clean up my brows using the Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C13. Once I finish applying the concealer, I'm going to take a buffing brush and buff that concealer in to blend it out and make sure that there's no harsh lines. I'm using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Tan Latte to prep my eyelids for shadow. I'm going to place it on and then blend it out using that same buffing brush I used to blend out my eyebrow concealer. And you want to make sure that that concealer is super smooth, super even, so that way your eyeshadow lays on nice and even. I'm going to set my eyelids using the Airspun Translucent powder. Today's look is super soft, so I'm not really too concerned with really vibrant shadows. We're only using one palette today. We're using the Carli, Babel, and Anastasia Beverly Hills collab. The first shade I'm going in with is called Chai. It's this little soft brown shade. I'm taking a fluffier brush and blending that shade into my crease. I'm going to take the darker brown shade up in the corner called Boy next, and I'm going to use that to deepen my crease. Because today's look isn't super defined or precise, you can have a little more free range to be a little bit more messy. Everything's going to blend together in the end, but you don't have to really worry too much about exact color placement. I'm going to take that peachy shade, it's called Cindy, and I'm going to take that all over my lid space. I'm going back in with Boy, that dark brown shade, just to make sure that my eyelid is a little more defined where I want it, but I'm really kind of just taking that brush and just blending everything all together. The last shade we're going to use is called Aura. It's that pink shimmer that's clearly been used most in this palette, and I'm really just taking that and I'm putting it mainly over that peachy shade, but I'm kind of blending it into the other shades as well. I don't want to cut crease look, I want it all blended. Now I'm going to create a wing using the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black. I'm going to start on the outer corner by making a triangle and then filling that triangle in. I'm not doing like a full wing like all the way to the inner corner. I'm kind of doing like a half a wing, so it's only going to go like halfway down my eye. Eyes are pretty much done, so we can go in with foundation. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation in the shade Neutral 12.5, and I'm going to blend that in using a brush. Now I'm taking my damp Sonia Kashuk sponge and going over my entire face, absorbing any excess product and making sure there are no brush strokes in my foundation. I'm spraying my face with the Benefit Cosmetics Professional Super Setter and then using my brush to pat that into the skin. I wanted a tad bit more coverage on the lower half of my face, so I went in with a little bit more foundation. I'm going to pat that in with the brush and then my sponge before moving on to concealer. The first concealer I'm using is the Fenty ProFilt'r concealer in the shade 410. The first concealer I use is really close to my skin tone, and I use it to make sure that I can get any excess coverage that I need, cover up any dark spots, under eye bags, circles, the whole 9 yards. Once I blend out all my concealer, I go in with my foundation brush just to make sure that the concealer on the edges is blended in with my foundation and there's no harsh lines of demarcation. Now that I've concealed, I can highlight. I'm taking the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C12 right up under my inner corner. And then I'm going to be taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Honey right underneath that. For contour, I'm using the Juvia's Place foundation stick in the shade Katsina. And I'm taking that along my jawline, my cheekbones, and the bridge of my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. I'm going to blend out my contour first while my concealer sits. This just helps to make sure that I get the coverage that I want when the concealer is a little bit dry and a little more tacky. Use a smaller brush to blend out my nose contour so I don't disturb the concealer that's sitting under my eyes. I'm going to blend it up and into my eyebrow and down the sides of the nose. My concealer should be nice and tacky now, so I'm going to go ahead and blend it in using the Sonia Kashuk sponge that I used earlier. It is damp and I'm doing little patting motions, and if the concealer tends to get away from me, I can always pat it back down into place using the booty of the sponge. When blending out my concealer, I take whatever excess I have and I use it on my nose to go in between my contour. Look at the face. I'm taking the booty of the sponge, making sure I go over everything, every little inch, to make sure it's all blended together and seamlessly, that there are no harsh lines. And then I'm going to do the same with my foundation brush. You don't want any harsh lines of demarcation. You don't want to be like, oh, that's where she drew her contour. You don't want that. Don't be that girl. To set my concealer, I'm using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Blondie. All-time favorite powder. Why do we make such crazy, ugly little faces when we're putting on powder? But anyway, I'm just pressing that powder into the skin. I'm not baking right now. I'm simply setting the face. I'm putting the powder on and then going in and pressing it in. To set the rest of my face, I'm using the Fenty Beauty ProFilt'r foundation powder in the shade 410. I like using a pressed powder to set my face. I feel like it blends in easily, especially with the loose powder that I've used on the highlighted areas. It just creates for a more flawless face for me. For your enjoyment, here are 5.7 seconds of me being me. Next, I'm going to bake using the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus powder in the shade Banana, taking that along the sides of my nose, underneath my eye, around my mouth, and down the bridge of my nose. I am going out and wearing this makeup all day, so it has to last. Like, I can't not bake. I'm going to bronze with the Fenty Beauty Sunstalk'r bronzer in Coco Naughty. I'm taking that literally wherever I had placed my contour. I definitely like bringing warmth into my face. I do prefer my face to be a lot more bronzy than cool toned. So this is a step I will never, ever, ever skip, baby. We can't forget about our nose, so I'm using that same Fenty Beauty bronzer and a smaller brush to define my nose contour. Taking it nice and up into my brows, and you can't forget about the tip. Gotta have to cut it off, you know what I'm saying? It's not a continuing line of bronzer just going down your face. For blush, I'm using the Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Palette Volume 2. I'm taking this shade Tau, and I'm taking that to my cheeks right above my bronzer and to the tip of my nose. For mascara, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara. I'm going to brush it all through, trying to straighten out my personal lashes as straight as possible before I get ready to put on my false lashes, and be right back. And they on, and they popping, and she cute. Alright, so now I can dust off my bake, patting and dusting. The powder is there for a reason, so I don't just like to sweep it away. I like to pat it and then dust it away at the same time. Sometimes while baking, the edges of where the powder were can look a little harsh, so I always take my foundation brush and go back over those to make sure that it looks great before I spray my face and pat again with the foundation brush. I'm taking the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Black Market to my waterline. And then taking the full frontal mascara to my lower lashes. I'm lining my lips with the NYX pencil in the shade Espresso. This is honestly like my second favorite liner. It's definitely more affordable than my KKW, and it gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, she bae. For lipstick, I'm using the NYX Shout Loud lipstick in a la mode, taking that directly to the center of my lips. And then I'm going to go on top of that with the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. Madeline? Madeline? I don't know. Whatever. To highlight, I'm using the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shades Mean Money and Hustla Baby. I definitely accused my sister of stealing this because I couldn't find it, but I found it. Sorry, Lexi, I love you. But I'm taking that to my nose, into the sides of my nose. I saw somebody doing it and I wanted to try it today. I don't know how I'm feeling. I'll let y'all know next time. And then to the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to spray my face one final time with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray and let it air dry. And that completes this look, guys. It's really been important to me to make sure that I cater to everybody with this Valentine's Day countdown. I wanted to make sure that there was a look for each and every person and their special someone. If you're going out on date night, staying in, whatever, this look is definitely more on the softer side. So comment down below and let me know what your favorite looks have been in our Valentine's Day countdown series thus far. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you've missed any of the videos in the playlist, head to my channel and check them out. And thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. I will see you tomorrow with yet another video in this Valentine's Day countdown. We're getting close to the end, a big finale. So I love you guys. Bye!